So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio, certified emotion code, body code, genius biofeedback practitioner, and I am here with the lovely Claire McIntyre, who is helping out with the chat and any questions that you may have. And today we have Michaela Gomez, who is going to be our volunteer. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully Connie will be joining us also. So we have an awesome support staff here. Anyway, today we are going to be taking a look at neuro remedies. We've tried working with this a little bit in the past, but we've had a few hiccups that we had to work with, and now everything seems to be working just how we like it. So I before we went live, I did get Michaela's voice and picture, so that is already preloaded into the Genius here. And because I didn't want to mess with the sound, I didn't want to go back out, so that is why we did preloading on it. So I am just going to start by hitting begin analysis. Claire, if you want to just give me a thumbs up if you can. Is it super loud? Sorry guys, I don't know. It's either all or nothing, I guess. I'll try to keep my volume down, but as I turn my down, I don't know if you could hear me as well. So and Margaret said it's loud but sounds good. So maybe just put a little bit of earphones on, or don't use earphones. Okay, so for those of you who are joining us live, and for those who are going to be watching this on the replay, I just wanted to tell you and point out, and there are a few changes from the last update which are really exciting. So, and that has to do with the number system that the Genius uses. So the Genius works on a numerical value system from 0 to 777. And in the last update, the ranges were expanded. And the reason for this was that we kept always kind of adding in and expanding the range on our own. So this just helps us. The Genius is just helping us do the work a little easier. So for those of you that know, and for those of you that don't know, the range from 0 to 200 now. It's no longer 0 to 100. The range for blue is now 0 to 200. And the frequencies in this range are observed to be chronic energetic disturbances. Chinese medicine refers to that often as stagnant energy, or you might hear people refer to it as under energy. And so after that, the next range goes from 201 to 450. That is represented by the green. And then we go from green to yellow, and the range for yellow is 451 to 599. And then the range for red is now 600 to 777. So again, the red, where it used to be 689 to 777, is now 600 to 777. And items in this range are observed to be acute energetic disturbances, which means they're presently out of balance, and they haven't been out of balance for a long period of time. It is just what's showing up now in the today. And in Chinese medicine, this can also be referred to as heat or inflammation or over energy. And the other thing that I just want to point out, high level numbers or low level numbers do not indicate deficiency. Like a low number does not necessarily mean deficient, especially not in the physical case. So what I mean by that, if you're looking at vitamins, if the number is low, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily deficient in that vitamin. It means you are out of balance for a long period of time with that vitamin. If that vitamin, the number is high, it doesn't mean that you have too much of it, or like you're overdosing or getting too much of that vitamin. It just means it's out of balance, and it's out of balance in this present moment. The genius is also not diagnostic in the allopathic sense. That's really important that everybody understands that. Uh, the genius shows energetic disturbances only. So when things like viruses or bacteria or things of that nature show up, showing that it's out of balance, even chronically, it does not necessarily mean that on a blood test or some other test when you go to the doctor, it will show up. It's possible it does, but it's not. It doesn't mean that it definitely is. And if anybody wants to know, then why is it showing up? You have the energetic imprint of whatever that is. So you could have symptoms of a virus, even though the physical version of the virus has cleared. But if you still hold that energetic imprint, you could still be symptomatic. So I hope that explains some stuff for people. The next thing I want to just look at here is, let's just go to the aura quickly. So we can click on the line aura, and now we could just hit begin balance. Okay, so here we have Michaela's aura. You can see we're looking for bright, vibrant colors. This dark coloring in the background, we would really want to work on that. Black typically, or gray colors, generally does mean that there's really negative energies in there. So I would always stress to work with your spiritual protection library first. And so that you could help clear some of that stuff, and you can see that bleeding through. The good thing is that that dark energy is not close to Michaela's body. It is further out, so that is a good thing. We can also switch to the old version, and here that what's really nice about this is that we see the four corners pretty much all filled with color, and that means that Michaela is grounded. So yay, Michaela. Good job there. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And so we can quickly look at some of this stuff. We can just look at what spiritual protection looks like. We have some negative energies down here. Some of this other stuff, your grounding, look at that. Grounding is at like 400, and that's like a great neutral place to be, and her aura is representing that she is grounded, and you can see it by this number here. Dark energy entities, those are low numbers, but sometimes when we're working with some of those energies, they do like to hide. I'm sure when we run a few more, if we add these frequencies into the main hold tray, and why don't we just do that right now? We can add all of them in. I'm sure when we look at all of these at Progressive Insights, it may look a little bit different. So let's just hit begin analysis. So it's not actually. So it's showing, you're a good case study here, Michaela. So it's just the attachments are showing in high. I'm still going to hit all because based on the black in that aura, it's not that I don't believe what it's saying, but sometimes these negative energies can be sneaky. So I'm just going to run these for 1 minute. blasting everybody. Thanks, Claire. Okay, so we had 37% rectification here. I'm pretty happy with that. I just am curious, and I do want to see how that just affected your aura. So I'm just going to go back and see if we made any progress there on just helping to clear that black a little bit. Maybe we frighten them away temporarily. So it's still kind of there, and you could kind of see it in here. You could see that casting, so it's still kind of there, but we'll continue to work on it. I do always like to start with using the vessel primer frequencies, so I'm just going to jump into the custom libraries right now. It's in custom libraries because it's a library that was created, but if you don't have the vessel priming, which is in the bioterrain library bundle, you could just add all the items from the bio field, and then I would add in like your minerals, vitamins, and amino acids, and I would run that for a little bit. It won't have everything that's in this vessel priming frequencies, but it will still do a good job. So I'm just going to add the whole library title in, I think. If it's, maybe it's not going to let me do it today. Okay, so I'm just going to open up that library and add them in this way. So if you go to the bottom and use the plus sign down on the left by main hold tray, I'm just going to add all reds, yellows, greens, and blues. And the reason why I'm adding them all is because all the information and all the items in here are really important. And when we work with progressive insights and the algorithms review the relationship between all of the items, some of the items that were yellow or green in the library might end up being stressed when we look at them in relationship to each other. Okay, so I'm just going to click on all and run this for 1 minute. Kayla, have you been having any headaches or anything?
Oh, yesterday was next level, like completely debilitating.
Because the reason why I ask is because C1, when I look at the meaning for that, the body connection is middle ear, pituitary, blood supply to the head, and it harmonizes for headaches, insomnia, high blood pressure, migraines, fatigue, and dizziness. And
yeah, it was bad.
The emotional connection there, which may or may not resonate with you, is fear of being judged, but that's just what comes up with C1. So anyway, you did well. You have a 44% average percent rectification, and that number is basically the average of the 3 numbers above it. And I typically will always tell you to make sure that that range between those 3 numbers is not more than like 20. If it gets higher than that, it might get thrown out of balance easier or quicker and may not hold as long. Because this is a demo, I am not going to run these anymore. You had a good rectification. I'm just going to go into the main hold tray by clicking that up arrow on the bottom left, which allows me to see what's in there. And if you look at the top right corner in really tiny print, it says clear all, and I'm just going to hit that and clear the main hold tray. So the next thing that I'm just going to do here, and these are my two main first starter steps, is I run the priming vessel library first, and then I run the general overview, and then I work with whatever has to be that we need to work with, whatever the symptoms are. So I'm just going to click on or touch or whichever device you're using on the words that says system overview. And it takes a few minutes for me because I have so many libraries. And then you can see, so the beauty of the general overview is it now brings in all the items from the system overview and whatever you have in custom libraries, and all the line items are put in numerical order. So they're no longer in categories anymore. And this is really important because it gives us a chance to see what might be the underlying causes or the root causes to some of the issues that we may be having that we're aware of or may not even be aware of at this point. So because I have so many line items, I'm not even going to go through all these because we would be here all day. But I am going to hit, if you hit the plus sign, we can add the top 50 and the bottom 50. And so you could see in the main hold tray, I now have 100 items. I can now go back up to the top line just to the right of general overview and remove all the libraries. And the reason that I do this is now we just have a view of all the items that are just in the system overview. So basically, if you're using the Genius without any libraries or you're on the trial, this is what you would see. And I am going to add the top 50 and bottom 50 here as well. And there must have been 2 items that were in both places, which is why we only have 198, and that's fine. And I'm now going to hit the little play button on the right side of the main hold tray, which brings us to the progressive insights, and hit begin analysis. I don't try to make sense of anything that's in here because, first of all these items have come from different libraries, and without knowing the library that they're from, sometimes it's out of context and hard to know what it means. I just trust the Genius and know that what's ever coming up is the frequency that your body needs. So again, I'm going to click on all and hit play. So now for you, Michaela, thoracic 5 was coming up, which has to do with your liver, solar plexus, blood circulation. So again, that's something with the blood, high blood pressure. Is your blood pressure okay that you're aware of?
That I'm aware of, yeah.
Okay, you just might want to be aware of that. So, and it could be related to the emotions of rage, need to process and release emotions. But it is showing up on high, so that could just be a stressor for today. So maybe the kids are running around a lot for you.
Yeah, we're packing for a trip for a week, so stress is high.
So that might be why. Okay, so again, you had a 40% rectification, and it's within that 20% range on the 3 up above. So again, happy with this. You could rescan it and then just run the highs and the lows, or just the lows. I'm not going to do that right now. This way we can get into working with the neuro remedies a little bit. So I will now clear out the main hold tray again. And I'm just going to go back to the main system overview page. And then I'm going to go into the back office. And we do that again by hitting these three bars at the top right corner. And if you look and scroll down, it says Neuro Remedy. Now, I have a few neuro remedies already built in here. There are different clearing statements that I use. I can show you how to add one. So we can do that right now. And just because I'm on the spot, the easiest thing for me to add right now is I will add the Ho'oponopono prayer. And so that prayer just says, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. So I will add that as a recording right now. So I'm going to hope that I remember how to spell it. Ho'opono. I think that's right. Okay, and then I'm going to hit OK. And now I could hit record on the bottom. So I'm just going to, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And now we can just save it. And I didn't say it a bunch of times because when we run it, we can keep running the frequency. So it's kind of the same thing. Now we can run begin analysis. So here we're seeing 196 would be, it looks like the clearing statement. And personally, I think that is a great thing that showed up for you, Michaela, because of that black that we were seeing in your aura. So I'm going to run this for 1 minute. Okay, and I think that these changed. Did anybody know that? I think this percent rectification changed. It doesn't give you the little pop-up that says that you did excellent, but you did. And now I'm just going to run for 30 seconds the part 2 of this, since it is a high number. These are great healing, clearing frequencies for everyone here. Oh, sorry. Okay, so again, it did update on the bottom. You just don't hear those tones, but it's a 45% rectification. And Margaret, no, I don't think so. I had thought the same thing. Claire, right? If you click these, you can't run more than one, like, at a time, right?
I think it's just the one at a time.
Yeah,
I
we
don't,
could try.
why
I don't
would
think.
you want to have more than one when you're trying to get a clear message in with clear tones? You wouldn't want to just
Yeah, I'm not actually
bother.
sure. What is that check button for? What is this for exactly? Oh, I know what that's for. I'm sorry. If you check these, you can export those to the Quanta capsule. That's what that's for. So if I were to click, like if I wanted to send more than one of these to Michaela's Quanta capsule, I could do that from here. So that's what that check is for. Okay, so let's just go. Does anybody have any questions on the neural remedy while I'm still here? Or how to create one or what to do? Anyone? Anyone? Nope. Okay. So let's just go back and let's see what. And so we did work with frequencies, but if you just work with the neural remedy, it will allow you to then get a new analysis of the aura, which is an update from before. So that's really great. And thank you to Ryan for making that update for us. So I'm just going to hit begin analysis. Okay, great question, Margaret. So Margaret is asking, why would I use it on a client over something else? Well, you can record up to 4 minutes of something. So, so like that clearing statement that I used, that would be really long to type in as just like one frequency. I don't know that you could type it in. It was actually like 3 pages long. So you would have to break it down into lines, and it might, I don't really know if it has the same um like effect when it's separated by line. So this way you can have the whole clearing statement. I read it, it was 4 minutes long, and then it creates and generates the frequency for that. So that's pretty powerful. Does how it would differ for, let's say, the Ho'oponopono prayer, my spoken saying it versus typing it in, that, I mean, I think we would have to like play with a little bit. I'm not really sure, to be quite honest, how to do that. So and Claire is saying the spoken word in someone's own voice is very powerful. And I would agree with that as well. So, and when your intention when you're saying it is powerful. So let's get back to Michaela's aura. So listen, I think this is looking better. There are some things you can still see this gray in the background. You can see some other stuff in this green in the center here isn't ideal, but that huge, really dark band of like that black has disappeared. So that's really great. And her aura still, as far as being grounded, you were ungrounded for a few minutes, but you're back. The energy moving in shows you as grounded, which is great too. The other thing that I want to point out is, ideally, now you're not going to see this a lot, but ideally you want your aura to be all one color. So not necessarily like all colors. So we have there's a little bit of interference in here, but there's a lot of all one coming in there for Michaela, which is really great. Yeah, I agree. Where are you seeing the dark brown in here, right? I agree with that. But Karen, did you see what it looked like before? Sorry, Michaela. I don't want to tear your aura apart or
No,
anything.
no, this is good. Yeah,
But
it actually makes sense from yesterday. So I'm
yeah, our
fine. This is
conversation
fine.
yesterday, it makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
actually. So, anyway, and you know, like this in here is probably not the best shading in there, that gray shading, but we're getting a little bit better. So, I mean, personally, I would go back and you could work on the spiritual protection again. There is a lot that is included in these neuro remedy clearings, and probably, and so they're pretty powerful. So I would really run these again for you, and probably even a little bit longer. Or we could even run, we can run this shofar one for about 30 seconds for you. So now the really cool thing, Margaret, when you were asking, so the shofar is actually a sound. So I wouldn't be able to, the neural remedy is really the only way that I could get the frequency of it into the Genius is by recording it. So that is also where you have some powerful things that you could do with the neural remedy. No, I didn't blow it myself. It's a recording of it. You're funny. And here Michaela had a 55% rectification, so that's great. And I'm just, because we created it today, going to run the Ho'oponopono prayer for you. Even though it is showing at 400, I am a huge believer in this prayer. I would run this, you know, if we had a lot of time, I would run the frequency of this prayer for several minutes. It's that powerful. So okay, so you only had a 29% rectification there, so we could probably work on that a little bit more. We can go back now and look at your aura and just to see how this is changing. And we'll pretty much, I know we did some of that other work before, but now we're pretty much just using neural remedies, so it's neat to see how it's changing. Actually, it's interesting because there is definite compression on that, because you can see some blue up here and then you lose the blue on the side. Again, I'm still seeing some dark and gray in here, but this is looking much better. Sorry. Oh, Karen's saying what the shofar is. Thank you. Since I didn't explain it, it is an ancient musical horn, typically made of a ram's horn. The bugle is blown in a synagogue on Rosh Hashanah. And Claire is saying it's like programming the angel on your shoulder. Oh, yes, that's a great. Yeah. Karen, you want to translate that for everybody? The
Ekankar or the Akarveka is also another one used as well. And they use the tone hue. They actually chant that like instead of Om. So that's
okay.
another one that's done. We could do like a whole musical thing of what those actually do, but a lot of them, they'll say the archons or whatever, that's the only thing that actually scares them isn't Jesus, but they'll go the hue.
So that's great. So again, we should we should add that to the neural remedies. And also, you're welcome, Lisa. She is happy that the neural remedies is working and that she is going to try it again. So you're very welcome, Lisa. So now let's just look, Michaela, at what your old version of the aura looks like, which I haven't seen this much color in a long time, so that makes me feel good, although there are some programming lines in here and it looks like you're not really grounded anymore, so we should probably go back and work on that a little bit. But I like to see that we're filling this up, but there are programming lines in here. If you look really closely, there are some, like right in here, there's a line in there, and the obvious blue. Michaela, is there anything else that you want to work on? What we have?
Not really. I mean, if anything, I can just like pinpoint is like hormonal, I would just say like imbalances are
Okay.
prominent
We can
right
look
now.
at your today's stress, which is showing as blue anyway, and we can add those in here. Could add your red and blue And hormonal is showing up at 573, so I'm just gonna drag that in. And interesting that cardiovascular is
Yeah.
showing up, because that
My
kind of
my
connects the
blood.
dots with possible high blood pressure. So just be aware of that one.
Okay.
And then let's see what else is here. So I'm going to chemical sensitivities. So let's just add in some of these. And I feel like we should be adding some herbs. So let's add in your reds and your blues on the herbs, and let's go to the essential oils too. And I'm also adding back in the spiritual protection stuff. And we'll work with some of the frequencies from the sacred geometry. So now I'm just going to go back to the main hold tray and progressive insights and hit begin analysis. And look at that, Michaela. Look what popped up on top.
Crazy.
Okay, so I'll play all of them for just 1 minute, and then I'll run the lows and highs for you. I wonder with the pesticides if that's with you working with the horses a lot on the grasses. Do they put pesticides on the grass where the horses are?
Yeah, so bad. But it's actually on a nursery. So
Oh,
I'm
so-
sure it all sprays over. I've asked to make sure it's not like near the horses or near us, but you know, that only goes so far in the wind.
Right. How are you feeling otherwise now?
I'm feeling good. I was definitely a lot more tense before this started, but I'm feeling a lot more chilled out.
Well, good. Your percent rectification is 26. So I'm just going to rescan this and then run your highs and your lows for 1 minute. And let's just actually run this for 30 seconds. No headache today?
No, I hadn't. It literally disappeared, I want to say midday, like early afternoon yesterday. But I had it from 2:30 a.m. the night before.
Ooh.
Yeah, it just came on like crazy.
Whoops. Okay, so average percent rectification, 63. And you're just slightly over that 20%. What is it, like 22%? But I'm not going to worry about that with the demo. We can just go back out and see how this is continuing to shift for you. So Michaela, Margaret is pointing out that your liver is active between 1 and 3, so that could...
Yeah, that's great. I actually have a little rash over that area that I've had for like a month, so I'm very aware I'm battling in that area right now.
Okay. So we're seeing a little bit of that, as we kind of like peel the layers off of everything, some of that
Yeah,
dark is
it's
coming
still
back.
far away though.
Still far
Stay
away.
away.
But it's peering its little head out there a little bit. So, I mean, we can we can go back to the neural remedies a little bit. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they would like to look at? We could look at where are your organs. Let's just see for what your liver is saying. Well, your liver is around 469, so, but let's look at your liver meridian, which that could be totally different. Good work, Margaret. So
Amazing.
so let's.
And gallbladder, which makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Cleaning it out.
And let's put all the blues in there. And I'm just going to put all the red and blue points in there for your liver too. And I'm just looking at the first or the last point. I think we got them already. Okay. And I'm just going to hit the quick zap on this and run this for a little bit for you. Yeah, so Margaret's saying the gallbladder is the time frame just before the liver.
Makes sense.
Okay, so 48% rectification, and we're well, we have a little bit more than 20% there, but and Karen is saying the liver and gallbladder flushes between 6 and 10 p.m. Am I reading that right? That's why the liver and gallbladder flushes between 6 and 10 p.m. Okay, so we can look at your aura, and I'm happy to take any questions if anybody has any questions on what we worked on today, or if you're having a problem someplace and you have a question. Okay, so the green color near your body is improving. I like that, but we still have that. I still think we need to go. I want to go to the neuro remedies for you. And let's just. I want to run this one. So Margaret's asking, would the neural remedy work to help break through negative thought patterns and conditioning? I mean, it's all frequencies, so I would say yes, definitely, without question. I mean, and even you could use any like clearing statements like that I'm using, or a shofar, or even the Ho'oponopono prayer. Or sometimes there, as a regular mute, like 432, or if you hear it on a YouTube and you just want to add in the sound of that frequency, you can play with so many different things. Okay, so Penelope, give me a second. And yes, Margaret, singing bowls, 100%, exactly. So Penelope is asking, I thought that the progressive insights was straight priority based, not the same as the analysis. Has that changed? That's a great, great question, Penelope. When we work with the genius, there's a lot that we can do with intention. So there are different I don't want to, people work with the genius differently. So some people work with the progressive insights, and I'll show you that right now, actually. Michaela, you had a 51% rectification. Oh, but you see, there's a huge range here, so I would probably run that a little bit more. But going back to here, the progressive insight. So you could work with the progressive insights in a couple of ways. You can work with it, yes, as priority, as if you're going to you keep that intention that what you're seeing is the high priority to work with, the medium is medium priority to work with, and the lows are low priority to work with. But then there are other people who work with it with the lows being similar to the blues. I know it's not showing as a blue color here, and the reds are what's stressed in the moment. So I do work with it both ways, but I've been tending to work with it more lately, using it as the highs being more similar to the highs when we think about in that high red range, and the low being more in that blue range. But everybody works with it different. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just another way to work with it. And I would just make sure that your intention is strong. If you're kind of not sure when you're working with it, the genius may be not sure too. So just have a clear intention of how you want to work with it when you're working with it, and you're going to get great results. I hope that helps answer your question. And certainly, Karen, you work with the genius all the time and for a very long time. How do you work with the progressive insights? Do you work with the highs and the lows being like your the reds and the blues, or do you work with it on a priority mindset?
Actually, what I usually do is, I don't know if it's not lazy, it's just trying to triage it faster. Is just go into usually the top 2 pages. I'll skim through and see what's resonating at 100% more so, because I want to see if is it the homeopath you need? Is it the issue of the candida, the yeast, or whatever? So it's more seeing what I can correlate it to the client's condition.
Are you talking about in entangled insights or progressive insights?
With the progressive, like with the entangled as well. But then in here, I can just usually do just the high, like to start with, and then see what's coming in. But if you flip from high to low and just see what kind of really resonates. The other thing too, if you're going to do a functional zone consideration, then you're going to be picking up something on the left side to check off too.
Right.
And then once I've kind of skimmed through to see what's really, really correlating to the client's condition, because you could be taking on other people's issues that aren't necessarily yours.
Right.
Kind of trying to triage that. Then I'll go for maybe playing with the all, if that makes sense. And then that's why I like looking at that entangled insight as well, because it's another way to kind of, is it the client's issue or is it something you're taking on?
Right. Well, how would you tell that from the entangled insights if somebody is taking it on versus?
They might be, let's say, living with someone and you might be taking on their medication or something like that. So kind of filtering it out when I do a proper intake, and then just seeing what really correlates to the client's condition, because there's so many that will be, at 100% or 90 or whatever. Right. So I correlate the entangled and then filter that back into the progressive, because here I'll filter it out again. Sometimes right. There's stuff that just, it's not really the client's issue so much as taking on something. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't get, I'm a little bit confused on how you would determine from entangled insights or from here what's being taken on. I just think it's going to clear faster if you're clearing out somebody else's issues, and then it's going to leave you with your own issues, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Which is why I like why a lot of times I'll hit all 1 minute and do it twice, because and then rescan in between, because it kind of lets everything else kind of float to the top that's not clearing right away. But Penelope's I think question was just that she was hearing 2 different ways of how people work with the high, medium, and low. So Penelope, I hope we didn't confuse you more, and I helped answer your question on that.
And I hope I didn't confuse you more.
Well, you were going into a whole other screen when you started saying 100%. So I knew you were going into
I wanted to bring that in so that I put that into my mind and looked at what's in the entangled. Then when you put it into the progressive, Then if you do all, you can shake everything out, as you say, for a little
Right.
bit, and then drill it down. But
Right.
I know it sounds weird, but I work both screens kind of simultaneously. If you can think of an overlap in here and see what
Yep.
comes.
No,
Yeah.
I definitely get it. So, I mean, even we can look at, let's just say if we went into the spiritual protection, I mean, I don't think this, again, I told you that I think that they're being pretty sneaky in here. So I'm going to
Yeah.
take the all dark energy cleared because that's basically what we're looking to clear. And these are the sneaky guys. So we can look at entangled insights here and we can see, I mean, these guys are hanging out with the parasites and they're hanging out in the biofilm and they're hanging out in all those different places. So we can look and see,
I think
you
it's
know,
really
they don't want
important.
to be found. They like they like where they're living. They don't want to
Yeah,
be kicked out. So, I mean, here, yeast infection is fungus. It's just what, you know, we're saying where they may be hanging out. Michaela, I don't know if that resonates at all to you.
I just spent 5 hours last night with David Avocado Wolf, and that was something that we did on the inner circle. It will be actually, I think, released hopefully online on one of his sites. But that's exactly what we were saying, and this is exactly what this is picking up. And then I can overlay it and then go back into the progressive insights.
Right.
So
I
thank you.
just cleared out the main whole tray because by accident I hit reds and it put it.
Yeah.
There are so many in here that it put the main whole tray like almost 600 items. So, I mean, we could hit here and do the top 50 and bottom 50 as well. And that's what I would recommend, especially when you're working with all the items. If you haven't selected them all, there won't be as many. So we have 100 items in here, so we can just work with this for a little bit. And it's always interesting to see what does show up since we didn't go through it all. I don't even know what all this stuff is in here. And that's okay. So I don't want anybody to be like, think that this is so overwhelming that they don't know what everything means, because it's, you don't have to know it all. What it all means is you just really have to understand working with like the highs and the lows and let the genius do all the work for you. So I'm just going to select all and run this all for let's just say 1 minute here. Yep, the genius knows. That's 100% correct, Margaret. Okay, that's 14%. So I would definitely run this again. The only thing I want to add back in here, which I just realized, is I want to add in the dark energy back into here. And I'm just going to put this on 30 seconds and run the lows. And that's where the dark energy showed up. Okay, so it's a pretty decent, it's almost 40%. We're getting up to the top of the hour. So I just want to go back and look at the aura and see what kind of shifts we had in here. Yes, and of course, Karen makes a great suggestion to infuse the water and drink the frequencies in the water and bath and the V steams. That's always a great suggestion. All right, well, we're not going to clear this all in one day for you, Michaela, but we're still.
Can you export anything to me?
I can, but I had cleared out some of that
Oh,
stuff.
you did. Okay, no
Well,
worries. I'll just, you
the
know what? I
first-
don't use the Genius enough, so this is great. This has been a big eye opener for me.
So you're welcome. I can, if you want, I could send you to your Quanta capsule some of the neuro remedies.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So hold on.
I'll put it in here so you can
I don't
copy
know if I have
paste.
you in my. Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
And I think it went, so I think you should have it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So listen to those.
I will. I will for sure.
And so yeah, we could just look at what the second page. Yeah, this is it's yeah, you just need to clear those. But hopefully you're feeling better. Listen, it's all like peeling layers and layers. So, we definitely made progress. Just because it doesn't look great right now doesn't mean like you've gone backwards or anything like that. It's just
Yeah, no, for sure. And honestly, just like, everyone can go about their day and everyone's busy, but this has just been such a great reminder for me to, just focus on myself too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, you don't. And also, also after you do these Zooms and other things, I mean, we all are a collection of a lot of different frequencies, and sometimes we pick up stuff from these things. So it's always a good idea after these to clear yourself, ground yourself, run some of these spiritual protection things on yourself. I can't say enough about good energetic hygiene. It's really important. And so anyway, if anybody has any questions, happy to answer them. Karen, thank you. And thank you for your support, help and advice in there. And Penelope, you are welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed today's live. And you also said, oh, well, I'm glad Linda gave you the link. That's great. Thank you, Linda, for giving Penelope the link. And Penelope, if you can't make it live, we record it. So, we did hit record. Okay. So you can watch the replay of it. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to turn off the recording now. Stop recording.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.